YouTube. As you know, the Google Pixel 5 doesn't come out until October 15th, which is really fortunate that my carrier has decided to send me a box on October 12th. Now, before this, I've had a Pixel 3, which ended up being a refurb unit, which was fantastic until it stopped connecting to Wi-Fi or mobile networks. In the meantime, I've been using a Samsung Edge, which, as you can see, suffers from the green screen of death after I dropped it a couple of times. So let's see what's inside the box. Okay, so open me to join Australia's best network, apparently. We have the Pixel 5 black, because why would you go green? And it's quite a sturdy box, the rest of it's just packaging. Just going to open it here and here. And let's see if I can avoid dropping the phone onto the floor as I've done in previous phones before. And there we are. The phone is surprisingly sturdy, to be honest. The aluminium back feels quite nice. And let's turn it on. And haha, it comes on. You can see the corner is the front-facing camera. That's all of the front that is consumed by things that aren't the screen, I suppose you could say. It has an eSIM, I believe, which I'm told as soon as I turn this on, my old phone just stopped working. But what else is inside the box? It starts up. There is a little manual on how to set things up, a USB-C to USB-C cable, a USB-C to USB-A adapter, a pair of wired earbuds, and a charger. Okay, USB-C again. So, looks like we have to go through this standard setup for this thing. It actually feels quite nice. It's not as cold as the old HTC One designs, but it still feels a little bit more sturdy than the old sort of, if I take this out of the case. The old Pixel felt a little bit fragile by comparison. So I'm hoping that I don't drop this too many times, but it's going to be a little bit better than those. See, this is actually quite new to me because it's an eSIM, so it's sort of connect to a mobile network if you have a SIM card. You can download a SIM instead. Now, sure, I'm going to press that, see what happens. Download your SIM. Connect to your mobile network by downloading the info that's usually on a SIM card. This replaces the standard SIM card and is just as safe. Sure. Connect to Wi-Fi. I'm going to need to find the password, so please pause there. I'll be right back. And with the magic of editing, I am back to put in my very difficult password of password 12345. And there we go, getting your phone ready. You can see it start up. Now the edge is, you can see that there's kind of like a glass lip over the metal, and I'm afraid that that's probably going to lead to a lot of people breaking their phones when they drop them, or this is very prominent above the edge. So I would definitely recommend, at the very least, getting a bumper for one of these. You can see that on the back you've got the 4 cameras, 4 lenses, and they're actually proud of the back. So as you can imagine, if the phone's going to fall this way, it's going to hit that camera, those lenses, and if it falls forward, it's actually going to hit the actual glass in the front. Now it's asking me to scan a QR code, so I'm imagining that this is what this little booklet, it was the first one I found. This one, Open Me, it's going to be. So this is going to be my eSIM setup, and yes, there's a QR code. I'm not going to show this to everybody else, but in case there's some sort of exploit regarding this. And now I can connect to my networking phone. That's actually very quick. To be honest, it's quite a bit nicer than I anticipated. Normally these things are a bit clunky. You've got to change your SIM, you've got to put it in. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this phone is actually quite waterproof. Resistant, should I say, water resistance. And I think these kind of differences with the eSIM and the wireless charging kind of allows these activations. So just activating this. Copy data, copy apps and data. That's a standard thing. Use my old phone. Now it's wanting to transfer my data from my old phone, but since my old phone is, well, green, I don't think that's going to really work. So I'm going to click the can't use old phone and see what happens. Hopefully it restores data with that old phone. You can restore more data, including photos and videos, if you use your old phone. To restore data without your old phone, sign in with your username and password on the next screen. I think I'm going to have to do that. So it's thinking, checking info. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work with two-factor authentication, because my old phone is dead. So I'm just putting my password in. Username. Now again, it takes a little while to type in password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's giving me options for two-step verification. Now bear in mind, because this is locked to this phone, I'm kind of stuck with it, but I can actually get a SMS sent to me with a verification code. So it's asking me with the last 6 digits. Just sounds like that just happened. But despite that, it doesn't give me an easy way to, how do I actually swap to what just happened? There's no physical buttons, so there's no way for me to change between apps, and I'm just going to swipe, and this is surprisingly clumsy. How do I do this? Can't tell, I can't enter the code because I can't navigate away from just to multitask. Sorry, everybody. It's asking me to put my password in again. What I'm actually going to have to resort to, because I can't figure out a way to change between apps on this thing, is I'm actually going to use my broken old phone to use my Google Authenticator to get a key. Now hopefully this works. So let's complain about Google Authenticator. I can put in a code 1 2 3 4 5. And it's accepted that. Fantastic. Add a phone number. More options. So they're being quite cheeky here because by default they want you to choose yes, update my settings and use this phone number across Google services including for relevant ads. Now that's the cheeky bit here. The second option that isn't highlighted by default is make it easier for others to contact me by keeping the number on this phone up to date on my account, but don't use my number for other Google services, such as relevant ads. I think I'm going to pick that one. I agree. Terms and services that we never read before we click yes. Getting account info. Restore data from my old phones. Now I'm probably going to pick my 3XL. Firm your old Pixel 3 XL screen lock. So I need to remember my old phone's screen lock to actually continue this process. Let's see if this works. It's thinking, choose what to restore. Apps, contacts. So for start, we can pick contacts, SMS messages. There's the device settings, which includes Wi-Fi, passwords, and more. Call history, your calendar, Google Contacts, Google Photos, Gmail. But the thing is here, apps, 54 apps. Let's take a look at some apps. So I'm going to untick a whole bunch of these because there's things like Amazon Music, which I don't really use, Cloud Print, I've never used in my life. Yeah, okay, I use that. Yeah, I use that. Yes, yes. No, I don't use that. I don't use. I'll untick that one. There's a whole bunch of restaurant things like your fried chicken and burger stuff that you can untick and use. Keep that one. Okay. I'll continue on with that. Now this does have quite a lot of memory storage, so there's like 120 gig of memory, which is really quite good. So it's now going to go through and it's going to restore all that. Now, if anybody uses Line or WhatsApp be very careful, because as soon as you connect to it on a new phone, it will wipe your old settings. I've had this happen to me several times now. You have it on your old phone, you haven't set up backups, it will wipe all those photos, all those messages, they're just gone. You don't get a second chance. I don't have the luxury of being able to configure anything on my old phone because it is just dead. So luckily I had set up backups, so at worst I lose about a week. So we back up to Google Drive, we're going to use location, allow scanning, send usage and diagnostic data. I'm always a bit iffy about this one. Yeah, I'll turn that one off. It still updates in apps and accept. Says screen lock. Into the actual body. It's partly aluminium and partly polycarb, and you can actually hear it. Don't you? So that middle bit sounds much more plasticky than the edges, and that actually allows for the wireless charging. And I don't know how I'm gonna. At the moment, I can't quite feel too much of a difference unless I tap it, but that's quite. I don't know if that's going to bug me long term. So anyway, we're setting up the phone. It's already pulled my details, it's got my backdrop, it's connected to the network, it's pulling everything else down. It's now doing the whole pixel imprint, so where you can do your fingerprints. So you press it and you touch it multiple times. And again, the sensor is on the back of the actual phone. I've actually been quite used to the Samsung having it on the front. It's quite nice because you can pick up the phone, just unlock it, and then start using it. Now, my Pixel 3 had it on the back as well, and it's kind of one of those things where you kind of need to get used to using it in a particular way. So I'm just doing with my other phone, on my other finger, and you can actually see that I'm grabbing that. So you can use left hand or right hand, and now it's asking me to continue the setup to do Google Assistant and all the other things. So let's say yes, let's grab that. Access your assistant with voice match. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. I'm just going to say I agree. And it says that because I've trained it previously, it already knows how to recognize me. Now, one thing about the Pixel 5 that some people might be surprised about is you can no longer squeeze it to activate Google Now. That's something they actually got rid of. So if you have a Pixel 3 or a 4 or a 2 and you're used to squeezing it to get that option is gone. I'm just going to keep all the other stuff off for now. Let's actually get to the phone proper. Do I want to get more tips and tricks? Well, sure, whatever. I ignore the spam anyway. And it's finally starting to get ready, apparently. Now, this seems like it's taking quite a while. I have no idea what it's doing. I still don't know how to switch between app contexts or anything else you normally either press on the bottom left hand or the bottom right hand to get access to. But to go home, you swipe up. Okay. To switch apps, you swipe up from the bottom of your screen, hold and then release. So that's how you do it. Okay. To go back to the last screen, swipe towards the middle from the left or right edge. I've got to admit that's quite counterintuitive. Ask your Google Assistant swipe up from either bottom corner of your screen. Bottom corner of the screen, they want you to diagonally take it from that way. I'm not a fan, I've got to say I'm not a fan. Let's see how we go. And I'm ready. Swipe up to get started. So, okay, let's see if I can actually get into Google Assistant. So, I've got it there, I'm going to swipe diagonally. Okay, it's asking me to unlock it, fair enough. My assistant needs additional downloads. Well, okay, download in progress. This is 44 megs and it feels like it's 44 gig at the moment. It's only about 10% done. 15%. Google, get better service on this, or Telstra, get better service on this. This is getting silly. 44 megabytes should not take more than a second, really. It's still going. And this is really painful. Okay, done. So I'm going to try to swipe up diagonally. And tells me that my assistant will be ready soon. Talk to me that my assistant. Talk to me that my system may know what to do. Thanks, Google. I have no system. So to activate this thing, you need to swipe diagonally. It's not working at the moment, it's saying that it will be ready soon. If I swipe up, I should be able to get to my apps, but it is 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 6th try, I finally got it. Here's all my apps. Okay, how do I go backwards? Backwards is swipe right to the middle. Okay, that's not so bad. Now, the thing is, I'm noticing this still, despite having an eSIM, hasn't connected to my mobile network. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so it looks like it's downloading all my other apps. It's setting everything up. I don't know what it's trying to do right now, but it looks like it's going to need a little bit of time. So I think I'll finish on that. So far, the setup was not quite what I expected. The fact that I still can't make phone calls is a little bit concerning, but I assume that just needs time to download all the settings from the carrier. It seems to be downloading 10 out of 53, so I'll leave it at that. I'll let you know maybe tomorrow or the next day how it goes, and I'll just kind of play with it, see how I like it. So all the best, have a great night, and I'll let you know.